Welcome to the Stories That Sparkle. I'm Hella Rader, and today's episode is a special extra episode because April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I really wanted to participate in getting the word out, raising awareness around sexual assault. And to do that, I sit down with Kayla from the Laurel Center in Winchester, Virginia. She is the sexual assault coordinator there. So we talk a little bit about what she does, how she does it, what services the Laurel Center provides. We talk a little bit about if you're a survivor, where to reach out. And we also talk about, if you are a family member or friend of someone who's been the victim of sexual assault or sexual violence of any kind, and they come to you, what to do as the trusted friend or family member. This is near and dear to my heart. I am a survivor myself, and I carried those stories and those secrets for a very, very, very long time. And even if I sort of intimated about them or kind of sort of talked about them, I would immediately lower the iron curtain because it was terrifying and scary. I was afraid of the shame. I was afraid of being told it was my fault. I was afraid of, what might happen to me if I told anyone and, if I was in danger or if I would be believed. So, there were just a bajillion reasons why I didn't want to say anything to anyone. And it took me a very long time to finally own all of that for myself. And in doing so and in letting those secrets out, I was finally able to really heal my soul, really. And so yeah, I've made a huge amount of progress over the last few years. The more I've talked about it, the more I have felt safe. So whatever your journey is, wherever you are on that journey, I understand and I care. And there is help available to you. So there are links in the show notes. They will direct you to the Laurel Center and other places, more national places, to find help in your local area. But if in doubt, you can always call the Laurel Center. They are super helpful. They will help you find the help you need wherever that may be. And there's also events happening throughout the month of April. This is coming out in the middle of the month, but there are still a few events happening in Winchester, hosted by the Laurel Center to raise awareness. So I have put all of that information in the show notes as well. So please check that out. And if you can, go out and support at these events. I'm really excited for this conversation, and Kayla is amazing. She does amazing work, and I'm just really grateful to her for making the time at the last minute to sit down and have this conversation with me. And I'm delighted to help support raising awareness around sexual assault and sexual violence. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Kayla. Well, hello, Kayla.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me. Yay!
Yes, it's exciting.
We were just chatting about how I had my conversation with Faith in March. That was just a month ago for a special episode, part of Podcast-thon. And because April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Yep.
And you are the Sexual Assault Coordinator,
Yep,
right?
that's correct.
Here
Yep.
at the Laurel Center. So Kayla, tell me a little bit about what got you into this work and working with sexual assault survivors.
Yeah, so going through college, I majored in criminology and I minored in child development and family relations. And I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I originally started working with court-ordered children who couldn't be in their home anymore after graduating, and a lot of them were sex offenders, either acting out on siblings, other family members, so they were in this residential unit that they had to reside in. Being a female in that line of work and working with those, troubled children was not the easiest. All of them were male. So it kind of also raised awareness that a lot of them were also victimized as well. So I was like, there has to be more out here for victims of sexual violence. So that's when I found another local agency that I started working for, becoming a victim advocate. I would go to court with victims. I would help them through the court process, helping them file for protective orders, do any type of safety planning, resources, anything to give them. And that really sparked my interest in working with victims and survivors of sexual and domestic violence. And then I started residing in Virginia, and I found the Laurel Center, and I've been here since October of 2020.
Wow. Yeah, we were just talking about like you got here during COVID. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that was
New place,
interesting.
new city, new everything, and you can't go anywhere. Wow.
Yep,
Wow.
yep.
And a new job. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep, I was hired as the sexual violence victim advocate, and then May of last year, I was promoted to the program coordinator for sexual violence.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
It is.
Oh.
I'm very excited.
So what does that role entail?
My current role?
Yeah, your current role.
Yeah, so I oversee the sexual violence program. So certain advocates that are under me that I, work with them. A lot of my day-to-day is grant reporting, grant writing, making sure that we're complying with all federal and state guidelines, making sure the programs run smoothly, so the psychoeducational counseling that our advocates do, safety planning, our hotline, and then another big service we offer is the crisis intervention companion service. So that's for anyone who's going through the Winchester Medical Center for the PERC exam. It's a physical evidence recovery kit. And then we have volunteers and trained staff that go to the hospital so they can sit with them through that exam.
Right. So how does that work? Does the hospital give you a call to say we have someone here who's going through that?
Yep.
Can you send someone over?
Yep, we have a really good rapport with the SANE forensic nurses over at Winchester Medical Center. They'll give us a call on our hotline and say, we have an individual here who's going through the PERC exam and they would like a crisis intervention companion to sit with them through this process.
Right. Wow. So I want to, that's amazing. I mean, that's a lot. You're doing a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
It's very rewarding though.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I mean, I'm just struck by, you starting out right after college, working in a very different environment from the other side of like dealing with or working with the perpetrators essentially, but then also in that process discovering that a lot of them had been victims first.
Yep. Growing up, it was always, the stranger danger, what to look out for in strangers, but really it's the people who can be the closest to you. Family members, loved ones, neighbors, friends. We see family members a lot. That's probably one of our biggest ones.
So it sounds to me like you're looking to find a way, like how do we break those cycles, those chains to help ensure that doesn't keep happening over and over again within a family. Yeah.
The best thing we can do is raise awareness, even let people know. Consent really is, there shouldn't be any gray. There is no gray. It's black and white, yes means yes, no means no. So also educating at a young age too, so we can educate then so they don't grow up, keeping that same cycle of not knowing or understanding.
And also part of that being like, I can change my mind. Like I may have said yes 5 minutes ago, but the minute I say no, all bets are off.
Yeah, consent can be revoked at any time.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So when you working with survivors, is helping them find support outside of just the immediate, like here at the Laurel Center, but also outside of and beyond that?
Absolutely. So we find any type of coping skills that they may have already tried. We try and provide more, and really hobbies. Especially if, they've been victimized, they may have not wanted to do certain things anymore that they used to enjoy doing, and they just kind of lose themselves. So our goal is to help them find themselves again and kind of get back to what makes them happy.
Right. Wow. So what does, how does April being Sexual Assault Awareness Month help? Like, what are the things that you do to help raise the awareness around it? Yeah,
so we do a lot of events throughout the month. We try and, set up tabling events with our brochures, our information, because sexual violence is a very hard topic for people to talk about. We'll be at events sometimes and people will just walk past us and see the word and just like keep going. So we just try and bring awareness to it that it's okay and we are here. Everyone's story is different, everyone's story is unique, and if you're not ready now to talk about it, that's okay, but just know that we do exist and we are here whenever and if you are ready.
Right.
We hope that even just sitting there, if someone is a victim or survivor, they might just take a step back and be like, they're there when and if I'm ready, and just know that they can call us at any time.
Right, right. So is the main focus then of of the Sexual Assault Awareness Month activities, or wherever you make an appearance and things that you do, mainly to help victims who may not yet have come forward know that there's help available.
Yeah, that's part of it. And then another is to let them know that they're not alone either. Sometimes they feel so isolated, like, why did this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? But at the end of the day, it's not their fault. I mean, no matter what they said, no matter what they did, that doesn't mean that they should have been sexually assaulted or any type of sexual violence. So really just getting out there and letting them know that, there is a safe place to talk if you want to talk. We are here. And just raise awareness too that it does happen in Winchester, it happens in Frederick County. A lot of times people say, oh, that doesn't happen here. But when we have these events and we raise awareness, we show statistics. So, the facts are there, it's there.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, it's like, oh, it's a beautiful small town and nothing bad happens here. But yeah, that's happening here too.
Yep. Absolutely.
So what are some of the events that you have coming up for April?
Yeah, so on April 16th, we have our candlelight vigil. So that'll be in person. And that is down actually right off the Walking Mall. It's the old courthouse down there. It is called the Shenandoah Valley Civil War Museum. And that'll be from 7 to 8 at night. And that's basically just, we have some survivors coming forward to share their story. And if they don't feel comfortable sharing, we'll have advocates read on their behalf, so they don't have to if they don't want to. But then we'll all light candles and we'll just have a moment of silence for survivors of sexual violence.
Wow, that's amazing. That sounds very powerful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
When that's on the 16th?
Yes, that is on the 16th, which is Thursday.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And then the next event we're doing is we partnered with Wreck-It Rage Rooms here in Winchester. They actually have a truck that you can go in the back and smash things. So they're going to bring their truck here. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I need this truck.
Yeah. Yep. So whether you're a survivor or not, just coming out, everyone has a story. Everyone has some type of, maybe someone they know, or maybe it is them, where they can write on a plate or a cup and they can smash it and just kind of let any emotion out, just kind of let that anger out if there is any buildup. And then we are letting them take that home if they want to, picking up the broken pieces, and if they wanted to, glue it back together or something to have a piece of art, they can do that too.
Wow, that's cool. I'm currently in a training program to be a somatic practitioner. So it's all about the body. And a lot of the work is about the rage that, I certainly have that I really don't want to talk about. But yeah, I've had to work a lot on letting out the rage, because it's like some part of me is like, no, I can't quite express it. So having a place to go where it's like, have at it, like let it out.
And all of those feelings are normal. We have clients come in that, why do I think this way? Why am I doing this? Like, I'm so dumb. You're not dumb. It's how your body's trying to process what has happened to you. It was not prepared to go through something like that. So just working through all of that.
Right.
Any emotion feeling is normal,
Right. Yeah. And like being able to work it out physically is so important, and having a space where you can express that kind of anger and rage. It's an often misunderstood component. There's all this bottled up rage. I mean, and it just sometimes comes out all kinds of sideways. So having healthy spaces where you can express it
and process all of it all.
Yeah, it's so important for survivors. I mean, for anyone, to your point, but certainly for survivors. So what night was that again?
That is on Monday, April 27th from 5 to 7, and that'll be here in the parking lot of our cafe.
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Yeah.
A truck to just have at it.
Yep.
Like break some plates and cups.
Yep.
That's amazing. Oh, and I love that you can then take the broken pieces with you if you want.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. That's very cool. I love this.
Yes. Thank you.
So, so what does the day-to-day look like, beyond, April and all the different events that are specifically geared during this time period to raise awareness around sexual assault. But what's the year-round work or the day-to-day look like for you?
You know, having an emergency shelter, having some clients in crisis, you just never know. I come in, I try and start my day by looking through my emails, looking at my calendar to see what's on there, but it never follows your calendar, right? So you just never know what's going to happen. But, you know, definitely being flexible is very important in this role, being able to drop whatever you have to drop to help out. Donations, the community's great with donating things for our shelter residents, for clients. Certain times of the year are more busier, so we have a lot of families that adopt families that we have as clients near Christmas time.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so Christmas time, we have families adopt, like current clients that we're working with in their family, where they will buy gifts for them for Christmas time. They also provide meals for them for Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, and things like that. We just had a whole bunch of Easter basket donations delivered to us for our clients so they could have an Easter basket. So a lot of things happening.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
That's a great way to get for the community to get involved and be a part of the solution.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, if someone's listening and, you know, they find that, you know, they are a survivor, what are some of the things that you would say to that person or want them to know?
That it's not their fault that what has happened to them. I'd want them to know they are strong and they are brave. We are always here, you know, looking forward. You know, they are stronger, they are braver, and that is not their story, but is a piece of them to help them grow and to turn into the person that they're meant to turn into.
Oh, amazing. Right. Well, I will list different resources to hear, obviously, to the Laurel Center, but also national hotlines, things like that, so that people can get redirected into their local communities to find help. And what would what are some things for family members or friends or just people around survivors that you would want them to know, you know, in navigating this journey with someone who's a survivor?
Yeah, so just meeting them where they're at. If they come to you and they disclose a story to you, just take that moment to sit with them, pause. Maybe don't ask questions. At that moment, maybe they just wanted to get that off their chest and just be there, be a listener, and provide the support that they need. A lot of times people are like, you need to report this, but you just want to be a friend first. You want to be a family member first. If they want to take that step, then by all means provide that support, but just be present with them in that moment when they disclose that information.
Right.
That's not to deter people from reporting, because it is a good idea to report, because you know, we want to break that cycle. We don't want that person to keep offending or abusing, but it is difficult, and we just want to make sure that they are prepared in all the ways possible, and we can provide that support as well.
Right. So, you know, it's not that simple. Right. That's not the first thing to bring up.
Correct.
To someone who's letting you know what's happening here. Yeah.
Yep.
Like maybe later.
Correct. Yeah. I always recommend, you know, if it's a friend to a friend, be a friend first. If it's a family member, you know, sit with them and make sure that they're comfortable first. As long as they're not in active danger, you know, just take a moment just to sit with them and hear their story.
Right. Yeah, no, that's it's a good point, because that was like such a big, hard step to begin with, to say it out loud, that it's like, just let it sit there for a minute and like give them that space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. What does it look like then, like when they do come in, like what's that process, you know, when somebody does come to you, and what are some other ways that, you know, we can work on collectively, even as friends and family, to help break the cycle?
Learning the red flags and green flags, you know, what's healthy, what's unhealthy, being able to recognize those behaviors. Sometimes people are brought up in, you know, horrible situations, and they normalize the behavior, they normalize the red flags because that's what they're used to. So they don't understand that, you know, there is healthy ways to communicate. There's healthy ways to be with someone and healthy boundaries. So we also try to educate around that too. So, if they don't want to move forward through court with that person, when they decide to go date again or see someone again, they can at least recognize healthy and unhealthy behaviors.
Mm-hmm. And what are some green flags versus red flags, would you say?
Yeah, so respecting privacy, that would be a huge green flag. Respecting your boundaries, when you say no, they don't try and persuade you or coerce you into saying yes. They take no for no, and they leave it at that and respect that. They don't make you feel guilty. Red flags would be you just not respecting your boundaries, trying to keep pushing more. Maybe you give an inch and they're trying to get to that mile. So really just respecting you, who you are as a person.
What would you recommend for someone who's like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. Something ain't right here, but I'm not sure. What would you recommend that they do?
If they have a trusted adult, family member, friend, assessing that story with somebody else, right? Because, if you're in that moment, you're not going to think of all the other pieces to the puzzle. Whereas if you talk to a close friend or family member, you may be like, hey, what does this look like to you? And then you can explain what's going on, and they might be like, that might not be safe, right? And of course, if people want to call us, by all means, we can handle that over the hotline, or if they want to speak to an advocate or someone like that, we can definitely do that.
Right. So when somebody does call the hotline, like what are some of the next steps from there, or could be some of the next steps from there if they want to move along? Look, again, taking the whole court thing for a second out of this, like just, without no pressures, but just what's generally the next steps from there once they've called in and they want to get more help.
Yeah, so when they call in and if they want to get more help, we definitely meet the clients where they're at. So we don't try and force them to do anything they don't want to do. If they're still in the relationship, we meet them there. If they want to stay in the relationship, we let them do that. We don't try and force them to leave. We'll just safety plan with them, provide any of our services. So usually the hotline is the point of contact to get any of our services, because referral forms will be placed after that when they decide what they want to do. So we offer the psychoeducational counseling. We offer therapy services. We have our emergency shelter if being at home is no longer safe for them. We provide the court piece, so the court advocacy and accompaniment. We do have educational groups. So if they like more of a group setting instead of one-on-one, we provide that service as well.
Oh, wow. That's pretty great. Mm-hmm. And when you were talking about, at this vigil, sorry, I just popped into my head when you were talking about group work, that survivors, some may get up in front of everyone and share their story. So is that part of the work to help them write their story in some way?
Absolutely, if they want to. If they come in and say, I'd really like to get my story out there, but I don't know where to start, your brain's just jumbled, right? You're thinking of everything. We can definitely sit there with them and work through that as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How do you take care of yourself?
Yeah,
because that's a lot. I mean, you're carrying a heavy load for a lot of other people and helping them get help. So how do you take care of you?
So really, it's very motivating and empowering that we exist, that the Laurel Center is here for people who have gone through, some of the horrible things that they have experienced in their life, some of the worst things that they may have ever gone through. So really just letting them know that we have an open door and they can come in, seek help, get resources, support, guidance, anything that they could possibly need. So that in itself is rewarding. There is good days, there is bad days, but it always seems to be that a good day happens after a really bad day, and it just reminds you that we're doing the right thing. We're here and we're supporting everyone we can.
Right.
I have a family. I have a little daughter, so she keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
So she also keeps me very busy. So that's also rewarding. My husband's great. He's very supportive in the work, which is awesome. I have a lot of friends and family, and I enjoy the outdoors. I'm a huge gardener, so I'm starting to get ready for my garden now. love being outside, and I have 2 dogs, so that is also helpful. They also keep me on my toes.
Yes,
so.
indeed.
Yep.
And give a lot of love, I'm
They
sure.
do, yes.
Oh. Well, it's funny you mentioned gardening, because just today I wrote something about, I have a lot of I deal with a lot of different things, including ADHD. I'm also a survivor, so that can like pop itself up in any given moment, and I just go sideways or like shut down. And I find the garden one of my happy places, because I can just like focus and like pull leaves out of the beds and clean them up, and like I can spend hours doing that and have no problem. But it's also very clearing. So
yes, I was just gonna say that it's just you can go out there and you can plant, and it is no thinking. It's just you're enjoying it. Filling the different types of soil and rocks and everything. It's awesome.
Yeah. It was funny because I was like, I had my gloves on, and then I'm like, no. I'm taking the gloves off, literally, because I'm like, I wanted to feel the plants and the leaves and the dirt, and like I had dirt all over my nails, and I'm sure there's still some residue in there. But I find that a hugely cathartic way to reset when I'm overwhelmed. Yeah. So I love that. Yeah. Oh, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it also sounds like, you have a lot of a great community of people, family, friends, pets to support you, which is amazing.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't do this line of work without all of that support.
Yeah. One last question. When, what would be the one thing you would say to someone who's looking to get into this line of work, who's looking to be a sexual assault coordinator or a victim advocate, or in any way work in this field? Like, what would be the one thing you would say to them if they're, someone in college right now, or maybe a second career who's thinking about it for whatever reason? Like, what advice or one suggestion would you give to them that you might have wanted to know when you were thinking about this?
Yeah. What I would tell them is definitely take care of yourselves. This is not just a job to collect a paycheck. Your heart has to be in this work. You have to care about the survivors. You have to care about, raising awareness and letting people know that, you are listening. It's not just a paycheck for you, that you're fully involved in their story and you're here to help them. If you do have any history of someone who has gone through something, definitely got to work through that first before you can start working with clients and survivors who then share their story. It can be a trigger. It can definitely set you off. So you just want to make sure that you've worked through your own trauma before you then are exposed to somebody else's trauma.
Right. That's something I had to certainly had to learn just doing my podcast sometimes. Talking to people, it could be about anything. Like, will bring something up in me and I like start going sideways. So having tools for that is really important, and having worked through the trauma first for yourself.
Because you could be triggered without even knowing a trigger, and just something could just hit you the wrong way and just comes out of left field. So just being aware of that. And because a lot of people who are in this line of work, either know someone or have gone through something because they want to help. So you just want to make sure that you've worked on yourself first.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kayla.
Yes, thanks for doing this with me.
This has been a delight.
Yes.
Super appreciate you making the time. And I'm so glad we got to make this work in the schedules and everything.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So I'll put all the events that you have going on in the month of April on the in the show notes.
Perfect.
And links to the Laurel Center and other resources. So anyone who's listening, if this is something that resonates for you, or someone, there is help available, and you're not alone.
Absolutely.
So awesome. All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you.
You got it.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Stories That Sparkle podcast, a space I created for women to share in their own voices the intricacies of their stories, and also to highlight, showcase, and address key topics, recurring themes, just whatever things that I know, hear, and sense are impacting women right now, today, the woman next to you might be going through this very thing and you might not have any idea, but we will talk about it here on the Stories That Sparkle podcast. And to that end, I wanted to bring awareness to sexual assault. So thank you to Kayla, sexual assault coordinator at the Laurel Center, for joining me and sharing with all of us more about the help that's available to survivors, how to reach out, how to support a survivor, all the different things and all the different events that you can participate in that the Laurel Center is hosting in Winchester, Virginia during the month of April to raise awareness. And there's all kinds of other ways you can support that organization and others who are working to help survivors to break the cycle of violence and of silence. So check out all the things in the show notes. All right, that's about it, y'all. If you want to help support the work that I'm doing and help me get more women's voices recorded, amplified, and out there, and more stories out there, please do me a favor and go to my Substack, hellarader.substack.com. Become a subscriber there. Download, listen, rate, review, all the things of the podcast. Yeah, all that stuff. And of course, if you have a story you want to share or a topic you'd like me to cover in an episode of the podcast, drop me a line to hellarader@substack.com, because together we bring light into dark places.